Well, hi there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Heisman. I am your host. Today is a show where we, like most other shows, we're going to talk about one of the 7 dimensions of wellness, all around growth, whatever it is that you want to call it that makes this show what it is. This show is going to be much like many of the other shows, but even a little bit more wild and off the cuff. Last minute recording, last minute live stream, last minute everything, last minute. The reason why I did so little preparation into tonight's show is so that I can simply get out what is on my mind. And I've been thinking about this all week. And due to the current situation of life on life's terms, much like other shows in the past, I did not put a lot of work or preparation into this. And that seems to be a current theme with the trajectory of this show as of late. 2 weeks ago, we had a show on finances, future, feedback, and freedom. Last week was a mystery topic, an audience vote, where we had a couple of questions that consisted of the meaning of self-awareness, how and why to write your autobiography, do you believe in fate or that we control our own destiny, what are your thoughts on the current state of the world, and what is your opinion on the concept of success? We had 39 votes. It was conceptually, I think the idea was fun. Most people wanted to hear about my concept of success and what it meant to me personally. And if you're interested in that, then you can by all means go back and check out the past live stream or check out the audio of the podcast in the description below. But I did another bit of a poll to cover the next question, the next poll question, which would have been a discussion on the current state of the world, or to take this show in a different direction and go where the spirit moves me. And accordingly, that is going to be the topic of today's show. The topic, as a matter of fact, in the show today is injury, physical wellness, and society. So in a sense, what we are going to talk about is my thoughts on the current state of the world with regard to physical wellness, physical health, and all of that. And that was something that I wanted to do, something that I've been thinking about, talking about, physical health and wellness and how that ties into the whole idea of all around growth. And also really how that ties into the state of the world, right? And before I start rambling like I normally do, one of the things that I want to elaborate on a little further is the actual change in the dynamic of the show and why the frequency of the shows has decreased, why it's been changed to a live stream, and all of these things. So at its core, the reality is, for over 2 years, I've been doing this show talking about all around growth and sharing my thoughts, ideas, opinions on what that actually means to me, because I have been searching for something, right? Something, some missing link in my life. And this is nothing new. This isn't this idea of searching isn't some sort of new concept to me. Many of those in my life, many of those people who are close to me, friends and family, would understand that I am a bit of a seeker of sorts, if you will. I've spent a large part of my life doing exactly that, and quite frankly, nothing is changing, except everything is changing. And what I mean by that is I've finally begun to execute on some of the ideas that I've had. All right. And subsequently, that's led to more involvement in life itself. And that, in and of itself, is in large part why I've chosen to reduce the frequency of the show from a daily show that was pretty in depth and comprehensive with a lot of show notes and a lot of information, to a weekly thing with less show notes, less preparation, and less follow up, because I'm out there living, right? And and I've spent a whole lot of time over the past couple of years talking about it. But the reality is, a lot of that talk, it's been all hat, no cattle, right? It's just been a lot of talk. So less talk, more work. And that's what I'm doing. Part of this, oh boy, we're going to be all over the map today, guys. So either you like this kind of content or you don't. But either way, if you're listening to it, it is what it is. And as the show continues to evolve over the next month or 2, month or 3, we're still going to stick with this format. We're still going to stick with a weekly type of show. And they're either going to be one of two things. Past listeners who are accustomed to this, they're either going to continue listening and it's going to get more popular than it already is, which quite frankly, it is not that popular. We don't have a tremendous audience base, or it's going to get even less popular because less or fewer and fewer people are going to be able to understand and identify with where I'm coming from. And the message that is contained within simply isn't going to be one that resonates with that many people out there. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. This has been a selfish and self-centered show from the very beginning, under the guise of something else, providing tools and insight to build the life and homestead of your dreams, all around growth, doing this and doing that. Well, like I said, it's been a lot of talk, a considerably less action, and just a lot of spinning my wheels, literally and figuratively, right? But that is not the case now. And the details of why and what I'm doing are almost irrelevant, but I'm simply doing different things with different people in different places, getting involved in my community locally and quite frankly, virtually at times, but more so locally with people in the real world, doing things I've never done before, book studies, just spending time with people, hanging out, talking. And it's been something of, it's been something that's allowed me to gain a different perspective on life, quite frankly. And I'm realizing that a lot of time in the past and a lot of the things that I've done have kind of been a little bit misguided. And in a sense, that's kind of what leads to this discussion on injury and physical wellness and society. All right. Now, like I said, in the past, a couple episodes ago, we had a show titled Finances, Future, Feedback, and Freedom. And if we look at the 7 different aspects of life or the 7 different components of what I have historically called all around growth and will continue to call all around growth, those are financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. All right. Working them in that order. And when I say working them, I mean, working them, not simply talking about it, because talking about it is what I've done a lot of over the years. And, I don't regret any of it, but I guess you could say, due to the lack of, or the change in consistency, the change in the frequency of the show, I'm doing a lot less talking and I'm doing a lot more listening, a lot more connecting, a lot more living. And I think that is something that I needed to do. And it's something I'm going to continue to do. And I think, societally speaking, we'd all be in a lot better place if we did similar things. If we stopped consuming the volume of content that we consume, if we stopped creating the volume of content that we consume, and live, there's something to be said for that. Now, I'm not crapping all over content creators, and I'm not crapping all over people that consume content. I spent a lot of my day today doing exactly that, consuming content, watching YouTube video reviews on a DeWalt combo set that I'm looking at buying. Why? Well, it's something I've not only been meaning to do for a while, but there were limited things that I could actually do today on account of this knee injury that I have. Okay, so what's up with this knee injury? For those of you who are in the Telegram group, which you can be at t.me/allaroundgrowth, you may know that I'm running a half marathon in May, and I'm actively training for a half marathon in May. And the training, I guess, officially began back in December, when I went all out and just tried to jump back into training like I did in the old days, and decided that, it would be a great idea just to go out and run 5 miles. Well, let me tell you how that worked out for me. Not well. I just decided to go up and run 5 miles. And after having not engaged in any kind of distance running, or really any kind of activity other than stretching in the morning and evenings, which I had been doing consistently for months on end, but I fell out of that routine too. Getting into a bunch of new routines, getting out of a bunch of old routines, some of which were good, many of which were bad. This is one good one that I let slip, but nevertheless, I decided that it would be a wise idea to just, hey, I got a marathon or a half marathon coming up. I'm just going to go jump into the training routine and boom, just jump right back into it. Well, it wasn't smart. And way back when I ran this marathon, which this year, it will be 10 years ago in 10 years ago in April, I guess, is when I ran a marathon in San Luis Obispo. But who cares? Might as well have been another lifetime ago. As far as I'm concerned, last year was another lifetime ago. 10 years ago, long time ago, many, many moons ago, many lifetimes ago. Nothing is the same as it was. The life that I had in even dreamed of 10 years ago is dramatically different now than I ever thought it would be back then, due to things changing, life changing. And I fully expect that 10 years from now, my life is going to be dramatically different than anything that I've ever dreamed of at all. And it's most likely going to be a life that exceeds my wildest expectations. And and perhaps I'll get into that in another episode when we're talking about personal development next week. So, on the one hand, I did take the one suggestion that I got from the Telegram group, which was, um, you know, there was one comment about a show topic this week, and I just thought, nah, we're gonna go in a different direction and go where the spirit moves me. So the next few topics are gonna go like this. Today, like a couple weeks ago, we did finance. Today, we're gonna talk about physical. Next week, we're gonna talk about personal development. The week after, family. The following week, spiritual. The following week, social, and the following week, career. And then we're going to do some sort of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word. Not necessarily a concluding episode, but it could very well be that. This is episode number 493. Like I said, I'm all over the map today. No intro, no nothing, no regular anything. And yeah, it's episode number 493. Today's February 5th, 2023. So down the road, 494 is going to be personal development. 495 is going to be family. 496 is going to be spiritual. 497 is going to be social. 498 is going to be career. And episodes number 499, 500. A lot of content creators make a big deal about hitting that 500 mark. I'm not going to, because, like I said, the whole this show has been kind of weird from the get-go. I never did a whole lot of promotion, never did a whole lot of anything. Don't even have a website for the show because, quite frankly, I talked about all this stuff in life, but I wasn't really proud of it because it wasn't really me. That's why it wasn't promoted in the way that it was. That's why it's only grown in the way that it has. The only people who actually listen to it are people that I think I've connected with in some way, shape, or form in a little bit of a different manner outside of the whole, host audience kind of capacity. We've actually had some sort of interaction in real life. And for those of you guys who do watch this and do listen to it on a regular basis, for that, I'm very grateful. But this is going to get a little bit more real as time goes on. And a little bit more real and a little bit more, a little bit different as it has been. So let's talk about this injury that I had, right? Or this injury that I first experienced. First, because I'm kind of all over the map here, but I started talking about a marathon that I did 10 years ago and some of the injuries I experienced with distance running at that time as a formerly big old fat guy was, having some problems with my IT band, your iliotibial band, which, for those of you who don't know, let's examine what the IT band is, because I can't really articulate that. But the iliotibial tract, or IT band, is a long, fibrous band of flexible fascia that extends from the hip to just below the outside of the knee. All right. And basically it also has an attachment to the outside of your kneecap. And my understanding, well, what is IT band syndrome? IT band syndrome is a common overuse injury causing pain at the outside of the knee. It's typically seen in runners and cyclists. And yeah, you've got this pain on the outside of the knee. And I always thought it was because it was causing some issue with tracking of your kneecap, but I don't know. You can do your own research on what the IT band is and potential causes for it, but that was something that I experienced. So there were a few things that I did to address this, which was try to change my running form and also do some stretching exercises to kind of release that or work that fascia layer underneath the muscles. All right. So, um, nevertheless, I did this marathon. I completed my goals with it, which were finish first and foremost, and two, not walk, even if it meant doing a very slow shuffle pace. And that's exactly what I did. I did this marathon in about 6 hours, maintaining a, I don't know, 13, 14-minute pace or something like that. But I accomplished my goals, and that's what I needed to do at that time. Now, I encouraged during some dialogue with my brother a couple of months ago to encouraged him to do this long distance race with me, which we decided would be the Cleveland Marathon. Thank goodness he talked me into doing the half marathon instead of the full marathon. But in my mind, in December, when I initially started experiencing this crap with my knee again, my right knee, I realized that no, perhaps he is correct, and we would go ahead and do the half marathon instead of the full marathon. So changed gears, switched gears. Still have yet to register for the thing. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to jump on board with the Empowering Epilepsy team and do some potential fundraising with that, or just join their team because I have epilepsy and run with the crowd who, has epilepsy or supports people with it. So we'll see what happens with that. But yesterday, and not in part to get ready for this and do a little bit of training and just to have some fun, we decided to do a 5K, not a true 5K. It turned out to only be about 2.4, 2.5 miles, but it was a fun run in Chippewa Lake, followed by a polar bear jump. I've done this polar bear jump in the past, and in the past there was deeper water. You had to climb a ladder to get out, but for whatever reason, they didn't put it out quite as far, and the water was shallow. We decided to do cannonballs in there to get fully immersed in the water, and that's definitely what we did. I went ahead, took a little swim, did a little breaststroke afterwards, just to fully get the whole immersion experience. And I realized that after the fact, because the water was so shallow and my muscles were a little tight or something, when I jumped in doing said cannonball, there was, I think I landed funny on the beach floor, the sandy floor of the lake. And I sprained my knee. I'm not, first of all, I'm not that flexible to begin with. I've done episodes in the past on this about flexibility, mobility, things like that, as we talked about physical wellness. But like I said, I've gotten out of this stretching routine. And when your body is pushed to the limit, something has got to give somewhere. My muscles did not, and my knee did. So I'm fairly certain I sprained my knee, and I've been icing my knee today on and off. And, that is the injury that we're talking about. Now, with regard to physical wellness, one of the things that I wanted to talk about earlier in the week and was going to actually do some prep work for this, but subsequently forgot all about this event yesterday. And, the weeks recently have been a little bit chaotic. They've been a little bit, like I said, I've just been engaged in life, and my routines have not been what they used to be. And I am keeping up with responsibilities with regard to the growth and development of the family business. But other than that, um, not much. Uh, and there are some things that I need to change there and get caught up on with regard to my personal business, emails, all these things. But we'll we'll address that when we address that. And I've got to make time for that. But I one of the things that sort of got this thought train thinking was, I don't know if anybody's noticing this or has noticed this. I'm wearing a new sweatshirt, right? So I've got this new sweatshirt on. And for those of you who are listening to this, I just moved away from the camera to show off this new fancy zip up sweatshirt. My sister shared that Kohl's, a local department store, national chain department store, was having a clearance sale, a sale on their sale items. So this was a clearance sweatshirt that was 50% off of its sale price. So I ended up getting it for $8 or something like that, along with a few pairs of gym shorts, because in an effort to enhance my physical wellness, I also decided to join a gym recently to get to be in a warmer environment. And the last point in time I actually devoted any time, effort, and energy towards anything resembling physical fitness was when I was living in Southern California. That was 10 years ago. And since then, I just haven't done a whole lot for myself. So joining a gym seemed like a good thing to do. The last time I actually was in a gym and had a gym membership was over 20 years ago when I lived in Colorado at that time. And, was actively swimming and working out before the day job. And I was very active in my early 20s. And again, lifetimes ago. So as far as I'm concerned, I am a beginner. And that is incredibly intimidating. Maybe it's not to some people, but it is to me. I'm a middle-aged guy trying to figure out how to navigate a gym, walking around all these jacked bros that are just like, know exactly what they're doing, that appear to be in far better shape than I am. And that's tough. That's tough because it's also a hard reality check on where I'm at and what I'm doing with my life. But it's also exactly what I need, because I realized that a lot of the things that I was going to talk about in this show kind of stem around this silly sweatshirt that I bought. Now, what's interesting is this sweatshirt is a size medium. The gym shorts that I bought, which were, also on sale, I managed to get 4 pairs of gym shorts, a sweatshirt, and I think that's all I purchased, but I managed to get all that for $20. And that was, hey, good deal. Those were also a size medium. And I was talking about this with my mom. And she had some odd theory. Whether it's actually odd or not, I don't know, but it's a good segue into the discussion on society, right? Like I'm 6'3" now, or at least was. Maybe I'm 6'2". I guess we all have a little bit of shrinkage as we age, or whatever that is. I don't particularly know, but I used to be 6'3" and 265, almost 270 pounds at my heaviest, probably pushing 15 years ago. Now, during this whole functional medicine process, I lost well over 100 pounds. I thought that I was in the best shape of my life And maybe I was physically in some ways, but in many ways, physically, I was not. And in other ways, I most certainly was not well. I was not well socially. I was not well with my career. I was not well spiritually. I was not well with regard to personal development. I was not well with regard to my family relations. I was not well. Um, Now I could have been better financially, but I wasn't in that dire straits. It wasn't that bad. But I certainly, there was room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. And I think the problem is, well, first of all, before I start yammering about the problems and ranting here, because I'm in a bit of a mood because I've kind of been stewing on this and how I was going to approach all this, icing my knee today and just hold up on the couch. But my mom mentioned something about the sizing of clothes being what they are now. And perhaps clothing manufacturers have changed the way they actually make clothes, right? Like as a 6'3" individual who probably weighs around, I don't know, it's been a while since I've weighed myself the last time, but I would estimate that I weigh about 170 pounds. Maybe due to my diet lately, I might be pushing 175. I don't know. Certainly heavier than when I was at the peak of this whole functional medicine, functional nutrition period of time. She suggested that maybe clothing manufacturers are making clothes not true to size where they were, a decade or two ago. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And we just kind of left it at that. And then I thought, well, and the other concept that I don't know who promoted, who threw this out there as we were talking, but if you look around in advertising, let's be frank, a lot of the people in advertisements are fat. All right. Being overweight has become the new normal, the new healthy. Being obese is now simply considered overweight. You have to be grossly obese, extremely fat to be considered unhealthy and in a place in life that warrants change. But hey, big is beautiful, right? Body positivity, whatever. It's 2023. I don't understand, but this is the ideology that's being accepted. I don't want to say pushed because I don't know. I mean, I don't know who pushes these ideologies. I don't know who promotes this stuff. I mean, everybody wants to blame something or someone for, the agenda out there, whatever it is. If the particular ideology doesn't agree with ours, then they are the ones that are promoting it, and they depends on who you're talking to and the particular ideologies that they have, right? But generally speaking, most people just want to point the finger of blame at someone and say, well, they're doing it and they're responsible for something that doesn't align with me and my values. And this kind of goes back to a topic that we discussed on January 9th in episode number 486, the me-centered society, where I started talking about a lot of the shifts that were going to happen in the show and talking about how a lot of this was just a show talking about me, which I've already alluded to today. Now, as I've thought about these 7 different areas of life, financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career, I think societally speaking, to kind of dovetail off of this idea of clothing manufacturers creating articles of clothing that no longer fit or fit the new normal or whatever. I mean, guys, this is a medium. This is something I probably would have worn in the 7th grade, but yet I'm a 44-year-old man. What's up with that? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But and the same thing with my pants. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I will say one thing. Let's look at like a Snickers candy bar, for example. That's significantly smaller, yet it costs a lot more. But if you get a soda from a fast food joint, which, hey, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I go to McDonald's sometimes, all right? Hey, it is what it is. You've got your guilty pleasures that you indulge in too. Just own it, all right? So I'm just owning it. Sometimes I like to get a McChicken and a double cheeseburger. No longer are they the same cost that they used to be, and chances are they're probably smaller than they used to be. But I'll tell you one thing I don't get a lot of at fast food joints. When I do go to fast food joints, I don't buy sodas there. I don't really drink a whole lot of them. But I do enjoy from time to time a Coke in a can. For some I don't know what that is, but anyways, not in a bottle like this. For those of you who can't see the live stream, I'm just drinking I bought this water bottle because it's a little bit more firm and I can refill it out of my Berkey. But hey, I'm heady and free range because it's a 100% plastic recycled bottle. And hey, kudos to me for being a good environmentalist. At any rate, yeah, with regard to sodas at fast food places, I take that back. I did order one recently. I ordered a small, because I got one of these meals. I think it was at Arby's, and the small soda was big, man. It was big, and I remember thinking to myself, "Geez, it wasn't all that long ago where this was the size of a medium," and made me think of what a medium size was. Well, the medium is probably the size of a large. Large is the size of one of those giant big gulp things that you polar pop things that you get at Speedway or whatever. That's like a half a gallon of just sugar laden, syrup water. And yeah, we're sick people, financially sick. How are we financially sick? Financially sick because we live in a world of debt where that is the new normal. Dave Ramsey's got awesome counsel and advice about management of personal finances with regard to Financial Peace University. And for those of you guys who have taken Financial Peace University, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the credit card world as we know it today didn't really exist prior to the 50s when it started with the Diners Club card. Now, credit was a thing that did exist, but not necessarily in the way that it does now. If you had credit and you didn't pay it back way back when credit operated in a normal way outside of credit cards, well, there was some societal implications that came with that. You were shunned. You experienced a bit of disgrace from your family, from your friends, from those who provided you the credit in the first place, and that disallowed you to obtain credit easily in the future. And so we were able to better manage it because there were actual consequences of not engaging in the behavior of paying back the credit that we received. Now we're physically sick too. With the food we eat, the food systems that we engage in, the way in which we consume everything. But since we're just limiting this to physical, I mean, we're physically sick. We sit more. I mean, I'm sitting in this chair behind a desk, and so many people sit now. And there have been people that have said, sitting is the new, I'm going to look this up for a sec. Sitting is the new what? Sitting is the dangers of sitting. Why sitting is the new smoking. That's right. You know, a quick search indicates that emerging studies suggest the dangers of sitting include increasing your chances of developing some types of cancer, including young lung, uterine, and colon cancers. Research has linked sitting for long periods of time with a number of health concerns. They include obesity and a cluster of conditions. All right. So, we're physically not well. And I could go on and on and on. And part of me wants to, but part of me wants to limit this and talk about how sick we are as people with each individual show moving forward with regard to personal development, family, spiritual, socially, and with regard to our careers. And I think I'm going to do that because if I go on and on and on about how sick we are as people with each individual aspect of life and those 7 aspects that comprise all around growth, I'll be talking for a considerable amount of time. And quite frankly, tonight, that's not what I want to do. I want to get back on the couch where Toby is back there. I want to get my leg elevated again. I want to get more ice on it and, just rest this thing, because sitting in this chair, like I have been for the past 40 some minutes, for the few of you out there who are actually watching this, hi guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been not real pleasant on my knee. So that's it. A discombobulated episode that's a little bit, a little bit different, just like you and just like me. And that's why that's why you're listening to this show, and that's why I'm recording it in this way. I don't really have anything further to say other than that, than to thank the sponsors of the show who make this possible, which are, again, linked to in the description below. I would definitely encourage you guys to check that out. The links in the show notes, one of which is Food Forest Farms, the home of air-roasted specialty coffee, a fun hip camp, and a cozy Airbnb. Food Forest Farms is the one who, first of all, encouraged us, the York Meadow Farm, to get online and start selling product along with everybody else in the Telegram group. That's largely where the encouragement came from. And Brian at Food Forest Farms encouraged me to take this in a new format and do some streaming every once in a while. And it's been interesting because in true permaculture fashion, I can stack functions with this, extract the audio, and just simply upload that into the traditional podcast format, which I will discuss in future episodes. I'm going to include some links in the show notes and in future episodes so that people who can support it want to, because I keep this ad free because ads suck. Advertisements and podcasts, personally, I think they suck. I don't like listening to them. I don't like mid-roll advertisements. I think they come at the most inopportune times, and many of them aren't really relevant to the content at hand unless the mid-roll advertisement is created by the host itself. But who knows? Maybe some people are talking about this as being a complete contradiction to that which I speak about, because hell, this is a mid-roll advertisement because I'm talking about show sponsors. All right. But anyways, it is what it is. So if you like this, you want to keep it going in the way that it is going, then you can do so by supporting Food Forest Farms and also checking out York Meadow Farm with bath and body products and lacto fermented foods, and just buying products that you would actually normally and likely consume in your life, or perhaps should consume in your life, by supporting those guys. Foodforestfarms.com, YorkMeadowFarm.com, links in the description below. And hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more of a, well, I don't even want to say hopefully a little bit more thought out show, because it may just be a last minute throw together thing like this. But I would like to get together some talking points, because there's something to this sickness that we have as people, and I am one of them. All right. And chances are, if you're listening to this, you are too. But we're working on it. We're working to get well. We're working to grow. We're working to, improve ourselves as humans, and quite frankly, as God's children. So that's really all that we can do, is be mindful of everything that's going on. We can't change the world, but we can change ourselves. And with that, this is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.